Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Friday. And first and foremost, as always, want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, as we all know, the Los Angeles Lakers have been reeling, coming off 2 consecutive losses on the road as they embarked upon their road trip for the Grammys, as they were to be away from the Crypto.com arena for quite a bit of time for this road trip. We know on the first game how they defeated Golden State, which you thought would give them momentum leading into the rest of their road trip so they can go ahead and take care of business and be on the other side of that 500 mark. And of course, they went to Houston, and as we know by now, laid an egg. Then, as we know, went to Atlanta, decided to rest AD in the second night of a back-to-back. You would think that it would have been the old man LeBron taking a rest, but no, it was Anthony Davis. And of course, on yesterday, AD and LeBron both not playing. And we know these are nagging injuries that they're going through, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, let's call it like we see it. It has basically been load management for those two, because you don't want to continue to play on such an injury that you could somehow frustrate it and make it worse. Although we have Jared Vanderbilt, who said already he has been playing through pain, but yet you put him out here on yesterday, and lo and behold, to me, the biggest, I'm going to say the biggest news of the game, because, of course, the victory by the Lakers, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute, too, was a big thing as well, and it was much needed as well. So we're going to get into all that. The Lakers winning without the services of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That was big time. But going back to what I was saying about Jared Vanderbilt, for those of you who do not know, the good news is X-rays were negative. So there aren't any fractures anywhere in any of the bones of the foot, which is a good thing. The only thing that I worry about is they need to get an MRI, get the results on that, and make sure that they're, get the imaging on that to be sure that, we're not looking at some sort of an Achilles or something like that. So, I'm no medical expert, but that is something that could linger for a while. And my only concern is Vanderbilt needs to be on the roster for a playoff run, because that's how valuable he is. And he was an integral part of the Lakers run on last year. I would much rather him take all the time he needs. And if the Lakers barely skate into the playoffs, then that's fine. As long as they in there, they got a chance. But they will need a healthy Vanderbilt. As you saw, he set the tone on yesterday in that first half. And honestly, when he went down, I thought that the Lakers would end up losing that game, because that's how much Jared Vanderbilt was bringing to the game. And if you look at it, he was a plus 17. And if you look at that, he had the highest plus minus of any Laker on yesterday in his limited 16 minutes. He only had, 10 points, but at the end of the day, being a plus 17, because look at how many steals. He had 3 steals, a lot of different deflections. He was on the board just by halftime, already had 10 boards. So he was all over the place, keeping possessions alive and being everywhere, causing many of a Celtic turnover that led to easy transition points for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I would be remiss if I didn't give shouts out to Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves played 34 minutes on yesterday. He was a plus 16 on the floor, but Austin dropped 32 points, 3 rebounds. 32 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists for Austin on yesterday. So he went out and got the points. And when you're in that role and you don't have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who are going to take more, that gives you more shots as a player and as a role player. And these role players really got out there yesterday. And I got to give another mad shout out to Jackson Hayes, who came out. And we all know, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Christian Wood, they say, had tweeted LOL before the other night's game in Atlanta when AD sat out, when they elected to start Jackson Hayes over him. And of course, he has a gripe because he feels like, hey, he's the next man up, because he was technically backing up AD. But to me, Jackson Hayes has a lot of bounce. And of course, as we could see last night, the youthful legs of the Lakers prevailed. And one thing I will say about this for the Boston Celtics is, when you're doing a scouting report and you know what the Lakers do, you are going to be a little bit more prepared. They've already played the Lakers. They knew, okay, here they are again, LeBron and AD. Now, if you sit both of them, now your scouting report has changed. So now you're a little bit on your heels as to what the Lakers are going to be able to, what they're going to be running offensively, and, how you're going to stop and contain that. And, of course, D'Angelo Russell on yesterday, even though he had a terrible shooting game, 5 out of 20, 25%, that didn't help his case, but 4 of those were made threes. And I said this on the last couple of shows, D'Angelo Russell, just stick to threes. You're a great spot up shooter. You pretty good off the dribble, three-point shooter. But when you get into these pick and roll situations and you get around the finish, and even when you're just sometimes not isolation but transition, just when you get downhill, you're not finishing at the rim. And we saw that time in and time out, and 25%, but you got to give it to D'Angelo Russell. He still was a plus on the floor on yesterday. Him and Austin Reeves still had great chemistry together. If D'Angelo Russell, to me, continued up his good play like he was playing prior to yesterday, then the Lakers have a good opportunity to go far in the playoffs. It would be nice for Gabe Vincent to be back on the healthy side. That way you can have an additional backup point guard. But as we all know, the best lineup is with LeBron in there handling the ball anyway. Even if D'Lo is not in the game, you would still rather for LeBron to be your facilitator. Max Christie, he had a decent game on yesterday. Christian Wood only had 18 minutes. And of course, out of those 18 minutes, he was a +2, but he was only 1 out of 9. So maybe Coach Ham was on to something, as you can see, with with Jackson Hayes coming in, being 6 out of 8, taking very high percentage shots around the rim, going up to get a lot of balls athletically, and really taking care of business. So mad shouts out to the Lakers for being able to go away with the victory on yesterday. And then you talk about Jaylen Brown, the way they played defense on yesterday. That's what I'm telling you. Vanderbilt is too valuable, and you get in the playoffs to be able to guard positions 1 through 4. You're talking about a Jared Vanderbilt who can guard some of the best point guards in this league, and he's a forward. And look at the size and length of a Jared Vanderbilt, but he has he has the speed. I tried to say quickness and speed, didn't know which one. The Queed, that's my new word, and we'll just call it like it is. But anyway, to keep up with some of the premier point guards in this league. And you look at a Jaylen Brown on yesterday, only 4 out of 12, 0 from 3, only had 8 points, was a -20 on the floor. Kristaps Porzingis, it's amazing to me how the Celtics dominated the Lakers in the previous matchup when you had an Anthony Davis out there, but then Jackson Hayes can come out and do these sorts of things. But hey, that is what it is. And I think this could possibly have been, maybe you heard what LeBron said the other day. He put the hourglass on, so maybe he said time was ticking for some of these cats. And he says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and we going to sit out. Me and AD going to watch y'all, and y'all are auditioning to see who going to get shipped out and who not, because late GM was in full effect. But now I'm just playing. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are already, LeBron James cut his nails during the game. Oh, man, y'all. This man living rent-free in your head. I don't understand why you're so concerned about a man clipping his nails. Like, to me, I'm not even going to get into all that, but, that's kind of strange that you see that all over Twitter and other places, people concerned about what LeBron James is doing on the bench, and actually had the gall to say he wasn't happy for his teammates when him and AD were both cheering on their teammates all night long. And LeBron James doesn't really want to be in the play-in, and he wants to be right in the playoffs where he needs to be. And why would he not be going for his team? Because every victory counts, and the Lakers are now back at 500, if I'm not mistaken, 25-25. And then they have next few games coming up. The Knicks tomorrow night. It would have been nice to have Jared Vanderbilt. That's going to make it harder because you could have had a Vanderbilt on somebody like Brunson to help slow him down. So we'll see how D'Angelo Russell, I think they're going to maybe have to put Reeves on him versus D'Angelo Russell taking on the responsibility defensively for Brunson. So we'll see how that all works out. But you should see a well-rested Anthony Davis ready to come out and play. As we all know, Julius Randle loves to light it up against the Lakers just because his history there with the Lakers. So that is going to be a good game tomorrow night on ABC. So tune in and check that out. If I'm not mistaken, that's going to be 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, and what's that, 6:30 out on the West Coast. So then, of course, the Lakers, they get into a little bit of an easier schedule. The game after that is they take on the Hornets, but then they have the Nuggets coming to town on their first game back at home. That's going to be on next Thursday night. And then, of course, the Pelicans, that's going to be a hard game as well. So we'll see what the Lakers are made up. And these next few games are going to be very important. And then after that, they have the Pistons. They'll get a little bit easier. And at the Jazz, it's never easy because the Jazz is a scrappy team. And, of course, Lauri Markkanen and company and Clarkson will be doing the looking to run the ball up and down the floor, and especially in the elevated Utah. It's one of the hardest places to play in the league, just like Denver is. So if I had to predict over those next 6 games, Knicks, Hornets, Lakers, Pelicans, Pistons, Jazz, put in the comments what you think their record to be. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Lakers win tomorrow, Madison Square Garden, because LeBron only plays there once a year, and he loves to show up and show out in MSG. I'm sure Julius Randle, the crowd will be rocking and rolling. The Knicks have won 9 in a row, so we're not disrespecting them, but I just have a feeling the Lakers are going to take care of business with the last 2 games, especially seeing how the role players played so well on yesterday. So that's going to be something that'll be very interesting to see. Then the Nuggets, that's going to be a good measuring stick. We all know the history between them as far as last year goes with the Western Conference Finals. And, of course, the Pelicans, we took care of them. Lakers took care of them in the play-in tournament. I think Brandon Ingram and Zion was out partying that night in Vegas, so I don't really want to count that because the last time the Lakers lined up against the Pelicans, we all know what happened. The Pelicans kind of took the Lakers to the woodshed down there in the islands and got that payback. So it'll be on the Lakers right now to show them that they mean business, because as of right now, the Lakers and the Pelicans, since the play-in tournament, went in opposite directions as the Pelicans moved up in the standings and the Lakers moved down. So that will be a good matchup to see. But, man, if y'all haven't done so already, man, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that share. And as always, this has been your boy B New. I'm saying right on to the real, and much love to these haters. I'm out.